French President Emmanuel Macron made a statement emphasizing the need to step up sanctions pressure on Russia if peace talks with Ukraine fail. BFM TV reported the information, and Macron noted that if the current peace negotiations on resolving the war in Ukraine do not yield the desired results, the international community must be ready to take this decisive action. And if peace talks collapse, what kind of US sanctions would be most effective in pressuring Russia, and not only US? Do you believe that Trump is ready to take the political risk for himself of introducing tougher sanctions on Russia? Because we heard about deadlines and nothing.
Yes, deadlines seem to be comfortably forgotten, and all those ultimatums are kind of forgotten right now. Sanctions that would work and that would affect the Russian economy are sanctions on China, because China is the power that is helping Russian economy so much, and China is selling everything to Russia. China is buying everything from Russia. But again, this will definitely affect the Russian economy if there are sanctions on China and China stops, for example, buying Russian oil. But until China stops buying Russian oil, until China does something, so those sanctions would affect American economy. And that is why President Trump is not ready to do that. President Trump does not believe that China will crack under pressure. And Xi Jinping many times have showcased that, yes, okay, China is ready for any additional tariffs. China's economy is ready to withstand it. Okay, no problem, because they understand that they have leverage on the United States. China sells so many goods to the United States. It sends so many goods to the United States. And I'm not only talking about microchips or anything like that, but mainly just day-to-day products that the Americans use, that the Americans buy. And that is what China understands, and that is what President Trump understands. If there is a tariff on Chinese goods, Americans will feel it firsthand. They will feel it. Of course, this will affect Chinese economy. It will be very bad for the Chinese economy, definitely. But maybe China can withstand it for a while, and maybe China will not stop buying Russian oil. So what for will that be? If China is signaling that it will not crack under pressure, it will not stop buying Russian oil, how can the United States actually do it not to suffer themselves? That is what President Trump is trying to figure out. And for now, it doesn't seem like he has an answer. It doesn't seem like he understands how to push China into not buying Russian oil. So that is why he's trying to avoid any sanctions, any sweeping sanctions regarding all countries that are buying Russian resources. Mind you, the sanctions on India don't seem to be canceled. And on August 27th, those additional tariffs of 25% for Indian goods coming to the United States are in effect. Those additional 25% are a go. So we will see how this will work out. This will not affect American economy, Americans' day-to-day life. This will not affect that much. It will, but not that much. But unlike China, China's tariffs would affect Americans' day-to-day life. So now we are having this situation that what really can affect Putin's economy is sanctions on China. President Trump doesn't want to do that. So maybe we will see some different sanctions on Russia, additional sanctions on Russia, additional problems, let's say, for Russia, for Russian economy. Maybe this will not affect it that much. But we might see it, although we might see it from the American side. Really, Emmanuel Macron can also talk from that standpoint, because I'm sure they discussed it. They've discussed it in the White House. But the main thing that could affect Russia and Russian economy is China. And President Trump is trying to do everything not to tariff China.